The twin suns of Zerona hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the barren desert. The wind howled over the endless dunes, carrying fine grains of sand that stung like tiny needles against exposed skin. For centuries, Zerona had been considered a dead planet, a place humans visited only for research or mining before leaving. Few thought life could survive here. Yet Dr. Ilara Voss believed otherwise. A xenobiologist with a reputation for curiosity and courage, she had spent years searching for signs of life in the universe, and Zerona had become the latest focus of her work. Her ship, the Horizon Seeker, hovered above the desert, scanning for unusual signals buried beneath the sand. Ilara's eyes, sharp and alert behind her visor, followed the data streaming across the holographic screen in front of her. "There, it is again," she murmured, pointing to a faint pulse deep beneath the dunes. "Something is moving. Something alive." Her assistant, a young technician named Joran, frowned. "Ilara, it could be a mirage. This planet is mostly dead. Nothing should survive under these conditions." Ilara shook her head. "No, Joran. Look at the pattern. It's too regular, too deliberate. Something is signaling." For hours they tracked the pulses, moving the ship slowly over the desert in a careful grid pattern. The sun dipped closer to the horizon, turning the sand into a deep red, but still the signals persisted. The longer Ilara observed, the more she became convinced that life of a kind humans had never seen still existed on Zerona. Finally, as night fell and the desert cooled, the ship's sensors detected a massive object just beneath the sand, a shape so large it could not be a natural formation. Ilara's pulse quickened. She ordered the ship to land, and they deployed the excavation drones. The machines worked silently, cutting through the layers of hardened sand with precision. Slowly, the enormous shape began to emerge. At first, it appeared to be a mountain, a hill buried for centuries. But as the sand cleared, a metallic blue shimmer glinted in the starlight. Ilara gasped. "By the stars, and it's alive." Joran's voice trembled. "Alive? That's not possible. That thing, it's huge." The creature was immense, longer than the Horizon Seeker itself, its body sleek and glistening like polished metal. Its skin shimmered silver blue, reflecting the faint light of Zerona's distant stars. The shape of its head resembled a whale, yet unlike anything found on Earth. Two enormous eyes opened, revealing a depth of intelligence and sorrow that froze Ilara in place. Then came the voice, not through sound but in her mind. It was low, resonant, and filled with an unimaginable weight of time. "Please, human, water." Ilara stumbled back. She had expected many things on her missions: danger, wonder, even communication with alien life. But a telepathic plea of such desperation was beyond anything she had imagined. The creature, this alien whale, had survived centuries without water, trapped on a world that had no oceans left. "Joran," she whispered, trying to steady her voice. It's asking for water." Joran's eyes widened, fear and disbelief warring in his expression. "How is that even possible? It's been, what, centuries without water? How could it survive?" Ilara shook her head. "I don't know, but it's intelligent, it feels, it remembers, it suffers." The whale's voice filled her mind again, more vivid this time, carrying a subtle emotion she could feel in her chest. Loneliness, despair, and hope all mixed together. "Centuries. I have waited. Please. Water." Ilara stepped closer, her scientific curiosity outweighing her fear. She extended her hand toward the creature, and the whale responded with a slow, deliberate movement. Its massive fins shifted, slightly, stirring the sand around it, revealing scars and marks that told a story of struggle and survival. "Joran," Ilara said, her voice trembling with awe. "Look at this. This isn't just an animal. It's sentient. It's intelligent. It's asking for help." Joran swallowed hard. We can't just give it water. Zerona barely has enough for us. The planet is dry. If we take water for it? Ilara's eyes were fixed on the whale's gaze. In that moment, she realized something extraordinary. Humanity's ingenuity, empathy, and courage could make a difference here. They could save a life that had endured centuries of suffering, even in a place where survival seemed impossible. The whale's eyes glimmered with understanding. It shifted its massive body, lowering its head closer to Ilara, as if trusting her entirely. Please. Human. Water. Life. Ilara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She knelt in the sand, careful not to frighten the creature. "I'll help you," she whispered. "I promise, I'll find water." Duran watched in awe and fear as Ilara spoke to the alien being. You can't be serious. Do you know what this means? We have to find water on a planet that doesn't have any. This is insane." Ilara smiled faintly, though her heart pounded with anxiety. Insane? Maybe. Impossible? No. Humans do impossible things all the time. This is what makes us who we are. The whale let out a sound, not a noise that could be heard by human ears, but a resonance felt deep in the chest. The vibration carried warmth, gratitude, and relief. For the first time in centuries, it had hope. Ilara turned back to her ship and began analyzing the data. Zerona's remaining water was sparse, hidden deep beneath the polar ice caps or in underground aquifers. Each drop was precious, yet she refused to give up. If humans could reach the stars, map planets, and survive in harsh environments, surely they could find a way to help one creature, no matter how enormous, no matter how alien. Night on Zerona was quiet, save for the soft hum of the Horizon Seeker, and the occasional groan of the alien whale as it adjusted its massive body. Stars twinkled overhead, distant and cold, yet full of possibility. Ilara sat in the sand, studying the whale's eyes, wondering how a creature could survive so long, and yet retain so much memory, so much emotion. Centuries, so many centuries. Alone, waiting. The words echoed in her mind again. She placed a hand on the whale's head, feeling the warmth of life beneath the cool metallic skin. "You won't be alone anymore," she promised. "We will find water. You will live. You won't have to wait another day in thirst." The whale shifted slightly, its immense body trembling as if it understood the weight of her promise. It did not move fast, it could not, but the connection between human and alien was undeniable. Here was a being older than Zerona's deserts, more patient than any human could imagine, and yet still capable of hope. Ilara spent hours mapping possible sources of water, considering every technology humans had developed, drilling into the ice caps, extracting water from minerals, even generating artificial rainfall. Every idea was risky, but every idea was a chance to save a life. The whale watched silently, its eyes reflecting starlight and the glimmer of hope. As the twin suns began to rise again, painting the horizon with hues of gold and crimson, Ilara felt a surge of determination. She was not just a scientist anymore. She was a guardian, a savior, a bridge between humanity and a species that had endured beyond imagination. The whale's voice resonated softly, almost like a whisper carried on the wind. Human, life, hope. Ilara nodded. Yes, hope. We will not fail you. The desert of Zerona stretched endlessly around them, harsh and unforgiving. Yet in that vast emptiness, life had survived. Against all odds, an alien whale had endured centuries of thirst, waiting for someone to care. And now a human had come. Ilara knew the path ahead would be dangerous. She knew the water was scarce, the journey perilous. But she also knew this: humanity's courage, ingenuity, and compassion could overcome even the driest deserts, even the longest centuries of suffering. And so, under the light of distant suns, the first bond was formed, between a human and an alien whale, a connection that would shape not only their lives, but the destiny of Zerona itself. The whale whispered again in her mind, faint but filled with gratitude. "Thank you, human, for hope, for life." Ilara looked at the desert stretching before them and smiled. The mission had just begun. The first light of Zerona's twin suns stretched across the desert, illuminating the dunes with a soft golden glow. Dr. Ilara Voss stood beside the enormous alien whale, studying its massive body as it rested in the sand. Its silver-blue skin shimmered faintly, and its immense eyes, deep with centuries of experience, watched her intently. "Ilara," Duran said cautiously, "we can't just stay here. The planet is dying. If we don't find water soon, it won't survive. And neither will we if we run out." Ilara nodded. She had been considering the same reality all night. The whale's plea echoed in her mind. "Please, human water." Every time she heard it, her determination grew stronger. Saving the whale was no longer a question of curiosity or science, it was a mission of life and compassion. She turned to her team. "We need to locate water immediately. The whale cannot survive on the moisture it might extract from the air. We need deep aquifers, ice reserves, anything." Her team of scientists and engineers gathered around, reviewing the data from the ship. Zerona had once been covered in oceans, but over the centuries the climate had changed drastically. Surface water was long gone. Only hidden underground lakes and distant polar ice could hold the water the whale needed. Duran scrolled through the maps. The nearest known water source is beneath the northern polar ice cap, but it's hundreds of kilometers from here. The terrain is harsh. There are energy storms, sandquakes. We could lose the ship or worse ourselves. Ilara's eyes did not waver. "We have to try. For the whale, we must. Humans survive the impossible all the time. We will survive this too." The whale stirred as if it understood. Its voice resonated gently in Ilara's mind, almost comforting. "Human, brave. Journey, water." Over the next several hours, the Horizon Seeker's crew prepared for the expedition. Supplies were carefully rationed. The ship's engines were calibrated to withstand the harsh sandstorms. Drones capable of scouting ahead were loaded, and emergency energy shields were activated in case of storms. Every precaution was taken, yet the mission remained perilous. As the ship lifted off, the whale watched silently. Its massive head tilted slightly, and a deep hum filled the air, a sound that vibrated through the sand and into the humans' chests. It was a song of hope, of patience, of centuries of waiting. Ilara could feel it in her heart. The journey north was not easy. Zerona's desert stretched endlessly, a sea of red and gold with jagged rock formations that rose like teeth from the sand. Every hour brought new challenges. Sandstorms erupted without warning, their violent winds tearing at the ship's shields. The team had to navigate carefully, relying on drones to map safe routes. One afternoon, a massive sandquake shook the desert. The ship rocked violently, and Duran struggled to maintain control. "We're losing stability," he shouted. Ilara's mind raced. "Activate the stabilizers. Lower the energy shields. Adjust thrusters." The whale's voice entered her mind again, calm yet firm. "Trust. Human. Mind. Courage." Ilara acted quickly. Following the whale's subtle guidance, she maneuvered the ship with precision. The sandquake passed, leaving the crew shaken but unharmed. This is incredible," Duran whispered afterward, staring at the whale. "It's like it knows what to do." "It's guiding us," Ilara nodded. "Not just guiding. It's teaching us. Remember, Duran, humans survive by learning, by adapting. The whale is helping us survive too." After days of travel, the crew finally approached the polar region. The landscape changed drastically. Sand gave way to icy plains that sparkled under Zerona's twin suns. Drifts of frozen ice stretched as far as the eye could see, and the air grew colder, biting at the crew's faces through their protective suits. "Here it is," Ilara said, pointing to the massive ice field. "If water is anywhere on this planet, it's in the ice." The whale emitted a low hum, resonating deep and vibrating against the hull of the ship. Water. Life. Hope. Ilara's heart raced. This was the moment they had been waiting for. She deployed excavation drones and ice-melting equipment. The team began their work carefully, drilling into the frozen terrain. Hours passed. Slowly, water began to flow from the ice, pure and sparkling, unlike any water found on Earth. The whale seemed to sense it, humming softly with anticipation. But the mission was not over. The ice was unstable. Energy storms, common near Zerona's polar regions, were approaching. Clouds of charged particles swirled in the sky, casting an eerie green and purple light over the frozen plains. "We have to hurry," Ilara said. "We need enough water to survive the trip back, and enough for the whale." As the crew worked frantically, a violent storm struck. Winds tore at the ship and ice shards flew like deadly needles. The whale's hum became louder, more urgent. Human, strong, courage, water. Ilara realized that the whale was not only guiding them but encouraging them, giving them strength when the storm seemed overwhelming. "Hold steady," she shouted. "We're almost there." Finally, after hours of struggle, the team secured enough water. Tanks were filled, and the purification systems ensured the water was safe for the alien whale. Ilara wiped sweat and ice from her brow, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," Joran said, relief washing over him. "We actually did it." Ilara nodded, smiling despite her fatigue. "Yeah, we did. Now let's get back to the whale." The journey back was just as dangerous. Energy storms lashed at the ship. Sandstorms waited in the desert plains, and the weight of the water tanks made maneuvering more difficult. Yet Ilara's determination never faltered. She guided the ship carefully, using every skill and bit of knowledge she had. When they finally reached the whale, it was waiting patiently in the desert, its massive body still and silent. Ilara felt a pang of emotion. It has survived centuries alone, and now we bring life back to it. She approached with the water tanks, and the whale lowered its enormous head. Its eyes reflected centuries of pain and loneliness. Then slowly it drank. The sound was not audible to human ears, but the resonance shook the ground and filled the hearts of everyone present. The whale drank continuously, slowly regaining strength. Its body shimmered brighter in the sunlight, and its hum became a song of life and gratitude. "Human. Oh, life. Thank you." Ilara knelt in the sand beside the whale, tears in her eyes. "You're safe now," she whispered. "You will never go thirsty again." Joran looked at the scene in awe. I can't believe it. It's beautiful." "I've never felt anything like this." Ilara smiled faintly. "This is what humanity can do. We survive. We help. We care. No matter the distance, no matter the danger, we reach out. That's what makes us human." The whale's hum filled the desert again, a sound of joy and relief. It was more than a creature, it was a being with thoughts, memories, and emotions. Ilara understood something profound in that moment. Humans were capable of greatness, not just in exploration and technology, but in compassion and courage. As the sun set over the desert, painting the horizon in deep red and orange, the whale rested, its body regaining strength. The crew sat nearby, exhausted but proud. They had survived the journey, secured water, and restored life to a creature that had suffered for centuries. Ilara looked at the whale one last time before night fell. Its massive eyes met hers, and she felt a connection that transcended species, time, and space. "We are allies now," she realized. "Together we can face anything." The whale's voice resonated softly in her mind. Human. Life, courage, hope, friend. And under the twin stars of Zerona, the bond between human and alien was sealed. A promise of survival. A testament to the strength of compassion, and the beginning of a journey that would change both species forever. The mission was far from over. Zerona remained harsh, its deserts endless, and its secrets many. But humanity had once again proven that courage, ingenuity, and care could overcome even the most impossible challenges. And somewhere in the desert, a giant alien whale, thirsty for centuries, finally drank its first water in hundreds of years, proving that hope could survive even the driest worlds. The desert of Zerona stretched endlessly under the twin suns, harsh and unyielding. Dr. Ilara Voss stood at the edge of the Horizon Seeker, watching the alien whale sip water from the tanks. Its massive body, glistening silver blue under the sunlight, reflected centuries of struggle, pain, and hope. For the first time in hundreds of years, it was drinking freely, rejuvenating after centuries of thirst. Joran, still shaken from their journey to the polar ice caps, frowned. "Ilara, we've done it, but the whale can't stay here in the open desert. It's too exposed. Sandstorms, predators. It's vulnerable," Ilara nodded. "You're right. We need to find a safe place for it, somewhere it can recover, regain full strength, and survive until we can think of a long-term solution." The whale's hum resonated in Ilara's mind, gentle yet urgent. Human, safe, water, journey. She understood immediately. It wanted to move. Even after centuries of immobility, it sensed life again, strength returning, and it wanted freedom. But moving a creature of its size across Zerona's dangerous deserts would be no easy task. The Horizon Seeker was small compared to the whale, and transporting water tanks along with the massive creature would require ingenuity. Ilara and her team began planning, studying the terrain and plotting a route that avoided sandquakes, energy storms, and jagged rock formations. Every decision carried risk. One wrong move could injure the whale or strand them in the desert. "We'll need the drones to scout ahead," Ilara instructed. "We'll guide the whale in stages, letting it rest at safe points. Joran, set up mobile hydration units so it can drink whenever necessary." Joran nodded, adjusting the equipment. "It's going to be tricky. The desert isn't forgiving, and the whale's size makes it slow. One sandstorm could end everything." The whale, sensing the human's determination, shifted slightly, lowering its massive head. Its eyes met Ilara's, and she felt a deep connection. Human. Courage. Lead. Trust. Ilara took a deep breath. "We'll do this together. You're not alone anymore." The journey began the next morning. The whale moved slowly but deliberately, guided by Ilara and the drones that hovered nearby. Its massive body left deep furrows in the sand, evidence of its centuries of suffering and the strength it still possessed. For the first few kilometers, the desert seemed calm, almost serene. But Zerona was unpredictable. A sudden sandstorm rose from the horizon, black and swirling like a living thing. The wind howled, carrying sharp grains of sand that tore at the ship's shields and stung exposed skin. "Brace yourselves," Ilara shouted. "Drones, lead the way. Keep the whale in the storm's lee." The drones activated energy barriers, guiding the whale through the harsh winds. The creature moved with surprising grace, each movement calculated to conserve energy while staying on course. The storm raged around them for hours, sand tearing at the Horizon Seeker's hull. But the team pressed on. At one point, the whale's massive head turned toward Ilara, and she felt its thought clearly in her mind. Human. Strength. Hope. Lead. She nodded, heart pounding. "Yes." Together. By nightfall, they reached a natural canyon, deep and protected from the worst of the wind. The whale lowered itself to the sand, resting after its first long journey in centuries. Ilara and Joran set up hydration stations and medical monitoring devices. The whale's body trembled as it drank again, regaining strength. "This is incredible," Joran whispered. "It's like nothing I've ever seen. Its resilience, its intelligence, it's beyond anything humans have imagined." Ilara smiled faintly. "This is what humanity fights for. Not just survival, but life, hope, and connection. We see intelligence, empathy, courage, and we respond." The whale's hum filled the canyon, a song of gratitude and relief. It was more than a sound. It carried emotion, history, and wisdom that humans could feel even if they could not fully understand. The next stage of the journey proved even more dangerous. Sand quakes, a constant threat in Zerona's shifting desert, began to shake the canyon walls. Vibrations traveled through the ground, making it difficult for the whale to keep its footing. "Ilara, we need to move now," Joran shouted. "The canyon is unstable. One more quake and the whale could be trapped or worse." Ilara looked at the massive creature, then back at the unstable canyon. There was no time to hesitate. "Activate the support drones." "Guide it slowly, steady." The whale moved cautiously, guided by the drone's lights and energy barriers. Its massive fins struck the sand, adjusting balance as the canyon trembled. Every step was deliberate, every breath calculated, human. Patience, trust, safety. The whale's voice resonated in Ilara's mind. The humans' hearts raced as they guided the creature through the trembling canyon. Dust and sand filled the air, making visibility low, yet they pressed on, relying on trust and communication. Hours later, they reached the canyon's end. The desert stretched again, but it was safer, flatter, and more open. The whale lowered itself, resting and drinking from the portable water stations. "We've made it," Ilara whispered. "You're safe, at least for now." The whale hummed softly, a sound of relief and gratitude. Human, life, hope, courage. But Zerona had one more challenge in store. As the humans and whale prepared to continue their journey, dark clouds of energy gathered on the horizon. An approaching energy storm, more powerful than any they had encountered. Lightning-like arcs of pure energy danced across the sky, and the air shimmered with dangerous particles. "We can't outrun it," Duran said, fear evident in his voice. If it hits, it could destroy everything. Alara studied the storm. We don't have to outrun it. We have to survive it. Drones, shields, activate maximum protection. Whale, stay low. Trust us. The storm struck violently, tearing at the ground and rattling the horizon seeker. The whale's hum became louder, resonating with the storm's energy. Alara realized something extraordinary. The whale's resonance was stabilizing the sand beneath them, dampening the storm's effects. Its centuries of survival had made it attuned to Zerona's natural energies. Look, Duran shouted, pointing at the whale. It's controlling the storm. Or at least, surviving it. Alara nodded, awe in her eyes. It's helping itself, and us. This is beyond science. This is life, adapting in ways we never imagined. Slowly, carefully, they guided the whale through the storm. Shields flickered and drones strained. But together, humans and whale survived. When the storm finally passed, the desert was quiet again. The whale rested, breathing heavily but uninjured. Alara approached, placing a hand on its massive head. You did it, we did it. Together we survived. The whale's voice resonated softly in her mind. Human. Courage. Strength. Life. Friend. Alara smiled faintly. Yes, friend. You are no longer alone. Night fell over Zerona, and the desert glowed under the twin moons. The whale rested, its body shimmering faintly in the moonlight. Alara and her team sat nearby, exhausted but proud. They had faced impossible odds, survived sandstorms, sandquakes, and energy storms, and they had ensured the whale's survival. This is what humans are capable of, Alara said quietly. Not just survival, but compassion, courage, and determination. We protect life because it is life. No matter how alien, no matter how large, no matter how long it has suffered. The whale hummed, a gentle vibration that filled the desert. It was more than sound. It was a message of trust, gratitude, and connection. For centuries it had waited for someone to care. Now humanity had reached out. Alara watched the creature, understanding something profound. We've proven something today. Humanity can reach even the farthest stars, survive impossible worlds, and still act with kindness and courage. That is what makes us human. The whale's voice resonated again, soft but filled with emotion. Human. Hope, life, courage, friend. Forever. And in the desert of Zerona, under the light of twin moons and distant stars, the bond between species was stronger than ever. Humans and whale had survived against impossible odds. They had overcome nature's harshest trials through courage, ingenuity, and empathy. The journey was not over. Zerona still held dangers and secrets, but together, humans and whale were ready. They had proven that life, even in the harshest conditions, could survive and that humanity's spirit could overcome any challenge. The whale, finally free to move after centuries of entrapment, had regained strength. Its massive fins shifted in the sand, a silent promise to follow Alara and her team wherever they went. The desert was harsh, but hope had returned. Alara knew one thing clearly: whatever came next, humans and this ancient creature would face it together. And in doing so, they would remind the universe of humanity's greatest strength, the courage to protect life no matter the cost. The desert of Zerona stretched endlessly under the twin suns, but the canyon where the whale had rested now seemed almost alive with possibility. The massive alien creature had regained strength from the ice water, and its silver-blue skin glimmered with renewed vitality. Each breath it took resonated in the sand, a deep, gentle vibration that humans could feel in their chests. It was a sound of life, of survival, and of hope. Dr. Alara Voss watched closely, her eyes never leaving the creature. "We've made it this far," she said softly. "Now we need to make sure you survive. Fully." Duran adjusted the hydration units, making sure they could keep the whale hydrated for the long journey. "It's amazing, Alara. After centuries of thirst, after all that suffering, it's alive. Truly alive. And it trusts us," Alara nodded. "Trust isn't given lightly. We have to honor it. This is more than a mission, it's a responsibility." The whale shifted slightly, lifting its massive head. Its eyes met Alara's, and she felt the depth of emotion contained in them. Gratitude, relief, hope, and the silent understanding that this human had changed its destiny. Human. Life, hope, strength. Alara smiled faintly. Yes, together. You're not alone anymore. The next step was to move the whale to a safe oasis hidden deep in Zerona's desert, a place the humans had discovered through satellite scans months earlier. The oasis was a remnant of the planet's once vast oceans, a pocket of water that had survived the harsh climate. It was surrounded by rocky formations that would shield the whale from sandstorms and energy storms. The journey was long and difficult. The whale moved slowly, guided by drones projecting gentle lights and energy barriers to protect it from sudden hazards. Every step was a challenge. The desert seemed alive with obstacles, shifting sands, treacherous cliffs, and unpredictable winds. But the whale's determination matched the humans. It had endured centuries of suffering. Now it would endure a few more days for freedom. During the journey, Ilara and the whale communicated constantly through their minds. She learned more about its species than she could have imagined. The whale had once swum in oceans larger than any human could comprehend, singing songs that echoed through the stars. It had known companions, laughter, and joy, and had lost them all when Zerona's climate changed. Human. You understand? Life, survival, hope. Ilara felt the weight of those centuries in her mind. I do, and we'll make sure you don't suffer anymore. The whale hummed softly, a vibration that carried relief and trust. It seemed to sense that humanity's strength wasn't just in technology or exploration, but in courage, empathy, and the will to protect life. After 2 days of slow travel, they finally reached the hidden oasis. Water shimmered in small lakes, clear and blue, surrounded by jagged rock formations. The oasis was small compared to the oceans the whale had known, but it was more than enough to sustain it for now. The whale lowered its massive body into the water. A soft, resonant hum filled the air, vibrating through the sand, through the rocks, and through the humans' hearts. It drank deeply, the water flowing freely over its lips, and the shimmer on its skin became brighter. For the first time in centuries, it moved without the weariness that had marked every motion for so long. Ilara and Joran watched in awe. "It's beautiful," Joran whispered. "I've never seen anything like it. The way it moves, the way it sings, it's alive in a way that defies words." Ilara nodded. "This is what we fight for. Not just survival, but life, hope, and connection. This is the reason humans explore the stars." The whale's hum grew louder, filling the canyon and echoing across the desert. It was a song of joy, gratitude, and remembrance, a tribute to the life it had lost and the life it had regained. Its massive fin shifted, stirring the water, creating ripples that sparkled under Zerona's twin suns. Human. Friend. Life, hope. Future. Ilara smiled, tears in her eyes. "Yes, friend. We've done it. You're safe now." Over the next few days, the humans helped the whale adjust to its new home. They set up hydration stations, shelters for the desert nights, and sensors to monitor the environment. The whale explored cautiously at first, testing its strength, learning the contours of the oasis, and remembering what it meant to move freely after centuries of confinement. Its mind shared visions of the oceans it once swam in, vast stretches of water under alien skies, schools of creatures moving in perfect harmony, and songs that echoed across the universe. Ilara felt a deep sense of awe and humility. Humanity had discovered life beyond Earth, yes, but it had also discovered resilience, intelligence, and beauty that rivaled anything humans had imagined. Human. Courage. Trust. Life. Ilara responded silently. We protect life because it is life. No matter the danger, no matter the cost, no matter how alien it is. That is humanity's strength. Weeks passed. The whale grew stronger every day, swimming gracefully in the oasis, singing songs that echoed over the desert. The humans studied it, documenting every movement, every communication, every interaction. Yet for all the science, the most remarkable thing was the bond they shared. The whale had survived centuries alone, yet it trusted humans enough to share its life. It had endured pain and thirst beyond imagination, yet it responded with patience and hope when offered help. Ilara realized this was humanity at its finest: courage, ingenuity, and compassion combined to save a life against impossible odds. One evening, as the twin suns set and the desert glowed in hues of red and gold, the whale rose from the water and sang a hauntingly beautiful song. Its voice resonated not just through the air but in the hearts of humans and animals alike. The sound carried centuries of memory, loss, and now gratitude. Joran looked at Ilara in awe. I've never felt anything like this. It's like the universe is alive, Ilara nodded. It is, and humanity is part of it. We survive not just for ourselves, but to protect life wherever we find it. The whale's hum softened, almost as if it were whispering in gratitude. Human, friend, hope, life, forever. Ilara felt a surge of pride and wonder. Humanity had once again reached beyond its limits. They had faced a harsh, dying world, battled impossible odds, and restored life to a creature that had suffered for centuries. Their courage, intelligence, and compassion had bridged the gap between species, between worlds, and even between time itself. The whale moved closer to Ilara and Duran, nudging them gently with its massive head. It was a gesture of trust, of connection, and of recognition. Ilara placed a hand on its skin, feeling warmth and life beneath the shimmering surface. "You're home now," she whispered. "You're safe. You'll never be alone again." The whale responded with a gentle hum, vibrating through the ground and through their hearts. It was a promise, a bond forged through courage, trust, and shared struggle. In the weeks that followed, humans and whale explored the oasis together. They discovered hidden pools, ancient rock formations, and signs of the planet's lost oceans. Ilara documented everything, knowing that their discovery would change humanity's understanding of life in the universe forever. But more than science, there was connection. The whale shared its songs, visions, and wisdom, teaching humans patience, resilience, and the depth of life itself. And humans, in return, shared care, ingenuity, and courage, the very traits that had saved the creature. Human. Life, hope. Courage, friend. Forever. Ilara smiled. Yes, forever. Together we survive. Together we thrive. Together we explore the stars. As Zerona's twin sun set one last time for the day, painting the desert in warm gold and crimson, the whale glided gracefully through the water, its massive body creating ripples that shimmered under the fading light. Its song echoed across the desert, a melody of life restored, hope regained, and bonds forged across species. Ilara stood at the edge of the oasis, watching. Humanity had reached further than ever before, not just across space, but into the hearts of another being. They had proven that courage, ingenuity, and empathy could overcome the harshest conditions, and that life, no matter how ancient or alien, was worth protecting. And somewhere deep in the desert, a whale that had survived centuries of thirst finally swam freely, singing songs of hope, life, and gratitude, forever connected to the humans who had saved it. The story of Zerona, of the whale, and of humanity's courage would live on, not just in scientific records, but in the hearts of all who heard its song. It was a reminder that no matter how harsh the universe, life endured, hope prevailed, and humanity's spirit could touch even the farthest stars.